I was lucky enough to have knocked many doors, been rejected multiple times. There was a man called Raghavan and his entire team who tested me out. I never wanted a question back on me that, can this guy act?
So tell us about your first venture, with Johnny Gaddar. I heard you had 2 scripts available to you and you picked the more unusual, risky.
Well, actually, I was going through a phase where no one was really confident of me being a singer's grandson, singer's son, becoming an actor. There were too many questions. So I just needed one film to answer all those questions realistically.
Sure.
And I think I was lucky enough to have knocked many doors, been rejected multiple times, just kept seated in a corner for months and months at production offices and big names. Finally, I met Jhamuji at a party where I wasn't supposed to be. And he asked me to come meet him the next day. I met him. He offered me 2 films at the same time. One was a love story and one was Johnny Gaddar. And I read Johnny first. I had to be a part of Johnny Gaddar. It was a no-brainer because it had so much meat to bite into. I just wanted not to do a film where the common norm of debuting, at that time was that you have to do a love story, you have to dance around trees, you have to, have the grace and the appeal.
Right.
Well, God bless to everyone who does that too. It's not easy doing that either. But I needed my questions answered. I never wanted a question back on me that, can this guy act? I didn't want that. And I think for that reason I did Johnny Gaddar. Obviously, it wasn't easy to just say, I want to do the film.
Right.
There was a man called Raghavan and his entire team who tested me out whether I was capable enough to doing the film for months, and every time I had to pass the test. And eventually, the film happened and rest is history.
Yeah. But how have you balanced the commercial and critical side of being an actor?
So I do that very often. In fact, not many people noticed it. But I very consciously make a very, very strong, choice basically between commercial and first of all, for me as an actor, I don't understand the difference between the two. Whichever film works on box office is a commercial hit, which doesn't is considered offbeatish.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think if I did a Johnny Gaddar, then I also did Aadekhe Zara. If I did a New York, I also did a Saath Khoon Maaf.
Sure.
If I did a Lafange Parinde, I also did a Jail.
Yeah.
So I have always balanced, the kind of films that I need to be a part of.
Yeah.
Commercial films, the big films, the names is important because it has a much larger audience. Of course, people go and watch those kind of films, so they know of your existence.
Right.
And that's very important for an actor. People should know that you exist also. People should want to watch your films.
Right.
Sometimes the commercial films do well because they have a certain kind of appeal, and it's not easy to be a part of a ensemble multi-star cast commercial big film
like a Prem Ratan.
Yeah. So when I did a Prem Ratan Dhan Payo, I did Indu Sarkar.
Yeah.
When I did Saho, I did a Bypass Road. So everything kind of has its own balance for me. I make a very conscious effort to try and pick subjects and films up in that sense.
But Neil, your characters for the most part have been very unusual.
Yeah.
And typically when, actors prepare for a role, they go back and look at references. What is that like when you're doing fresh offbeat roles where you don't have much to look back on?
I don't go back to references because what happens is, I think most of the actors I can say for myself at least is that if I go back to a reference, the visual medium is so strong, my visual sense is extremely strong. So subconsciously I will just hold back to that. I don't like getting inspired either in my writing or in my performance as far as any kind of inspiration, because it just somebody's already done that. You got to create your own. So in that sense, yeah.
Right.
The only film that I did do that for though was Hindu Sarkar, because I had to take a few, but there was so much of not so much out there for me to explore with.
Yeah.
And the character that I played of Chief on screen was not. We don't know too much about him physically. We don't have too many video evidences. So the mannerisms were all very limited to what maybe I have read. So perceived it, and obviously, through my perception of what the character would be, the body language, the twitch, all of those elements, the arrogance, the style of walk, the demeanor, all of those things I worked on. Saat Khoon Maaf again was a very difficult character for me because completely opposite from what one would think. A man with an amputated leg, complex in nature. So it was again very, very challenging a role. Also, I was much younger then. So to pull it off right during my, I finished Lafange Parinde and I jumped into
that phase.
Same.
Yeah.
So where I was doing, I still do a lot of these commercial, romantic. Lafange was a romantic commercial film also, but at that point, to have the guts to do a Saat Khoon Maaf was a big challenge for me, and I'm very glad that I did that film.
Or in that space, even Wazir.
David.
Yeah.
Wazir.
Right.
So most of these films, for me, there's so many of them.